Who is on your truther Mount Rushmore? Of course, I'm using the word truther in a general sense. Who are the 4 people who have most, in your opinion, shared important information that have helped you in some way? For some people, they might put Alex Jones up there. Some people might even put Joe Rogan. Some people might even put my truth uncle, Crazy Dave J. There are other people who might select one of my other truth uncles, Crazy Ab the Fakeologist. I was putting together my truth Mount Rushmore just the other day, and none of those 4 people made it up there. I'm going to tell you who did. But first, I want to let you know about some fantastic news. The support for the latest Late Night Truth Lounge was overwhelmingly positive. And all of those people on your screen right there, they showed their support for the show by buying me a coffee. And I did say that if some people did that, I would come back the next week. Same day, same time, same place. And I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. This time, though, we'll probably start a little bit earlier than last time. Last time was a bit silly. I was up until like 5 o'clock. I know it's called the Late Night Truth Lounge, but let's be serious, that's a bit silly. This time I think I'll start around midnight local time, which is 5 p.m. on the US East Coast. But what I'll do is I'll send out a notification, so make sure you're on the free JLB Patreon. It doesn't cost a cent to join. I'll link to that in the pinned comment below. And that way you'll get a notification when the show is about to go live. And if you haven't checked out last week's episode, I'll put a link to that in the pinned comment below as well. The feedback has been sensational, I have to say. But yeah, now let me share with you my preliminary Truth Mount Rushmore. And this is going to be very controversial, but that's okay. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm not saying this is my definitive list. This is just what I came up with the other night when the idea popped into my head. Who would be the 4 people I would put on the Truth Mount Rushmore? Will Duffy, the guy who single-handedly destroyed my flat earths. And it only took him like 6 months. He exposed for all to see the buffoonery and the chicanery of these flat earth leaders. And hey, if you believe in flat earth, that's cool. As long as you're happy, I'm happy for you. But in terms of the real world, there are certain things that are true. And people had been lying about it for 8 years. And Will Duffy came along and exposed that in a rather comical way. Some people say, oh, he's too smug, he's too smug, blah, blah, blah. The guy single-handedly destroyed flat earth. See, I've got him up there. Also up there is Les Luthor, the guy who went to Ukraine. He went to Kiev and documented. He's like, look, this is what's actually happening. People are buying coffee, they're out enjoying themselves, chatting, talking, buying their groceries like normal. Where's the bombs? Where's the war that's on our TVs? Where's the actual war? Because years ago, people used to say, oh, JLB, if you're correct and the wars on our telescreen are fake, why don't you go there and document it? You'll be world famous. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it works that way. Well, Les Luthor went to the Ukraine, documented it. Is he world famous? No, he isn't. In fact, most of you watching this video probably don't even know who he is. Well, I had a conversation with him. I've had a few conversations with him, actually. I'll link to the most recent one in the pinned comment below. You can go and check that out. Also on my list is Ray West, the guy who runs Big Lies and Nuke Lies. I first saw this guy like 10 years ago. And he would walk up to people with his little camera and he'd say, can I ask you a question? And they'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, without commenting on the truth or otherwise, have you ever heard the theory that nuclear bombs are a hoax? And then sometimes people would say stuff like, well, I know they're not a hoax. And then Ray West would say, what's your evidence? Just like that. Just what's your evidence? Anyway, he's got this crazy looking website. I don't even know if you can link to it via YouTube. But I also had a conversation with him years ago. So I'll link to that in the show notes below, or the pinned comment below if you want to go and check that out. And then also on the preliminary Truth Mount Rushmore by JLB is Greg Carwood of the High Side Chats. This dude has an audience of tens of thousands of people, maybe even to the 6 figures, I don't know. But he's got a huge audience, and he could have easily sold out by now and started promoting, doing advertisements for mattresses or shavers or pharmaceuticals or whatever. He still doesn't. And he could have started to avoid all the controversial stuff, but he doesn't. He even had me on the show. Me, the world's leading skeptic. The guy who questions whether dinosaurs are real, nuclear bombs are real, whether the wars in our telescreens are real, whether evolution ever really happened. The guy who says that ancient history is in fact a hoax and nobody died, nobody got hurt in some ancient Roman Colosseum. And it's not just me, he's interviewed lots of controversial people. Topics that he could easily stay away from, and maybe some might argue he'd be better off staying away from. Now he's built up such an audience. But every now and then he still gets on a guest to talk about some of the things that me and maybe some of you might consider to be very important things. Controversial things for sure. So there you have it. That is JLB's preliminary Truth Mount Rushmore. Still subject to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have I missed anybody who should be on there? Obviously my truth uncles, Crazy Ab the Fakeologist and Crazy Dave J, they both could have been up there, but some of the stuff they say kind of makes it difficult to put them up there on the Mount Rushmore. Crazy Ab the Fakeologist and his everybody's a transgender, Donald Trump's a transgender, Wayne Gretzky's a transgender, all this stuff, yeah, it's dicey. And then Crazy Dave J with his is, I mean, let's just be honest, the guy is a bit of a pain in the ass, and he enjoys being a pain in the ass, and he says really nasty things about people. He calls everybody a demon, a devil. He seems to be the kind of guy who enjoys going around causing people trouble. Despite all of that, I can't help being endeared to my truth uncle, Crazy Dave J. I still have a soft spot for him. And who knows, maybe one day he will quit his addictions, his substance abuse addictions, and clear his mind up and realize the error of his ways and be nice to people again, or at least not be such a nasty pasty. And there's other people too who could potentially get a spot up there on the JLB Truth Mount Rushmore one day. But that's my 4 for now. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. Make sure you're on the free JLB Patreon. We're doing another Late Night Truth Lounge tomorrow. Thanks again to the people who supported last week. I didn't realize there was so much support out there for the show. I was planning not to do another one until September 11, but after the support of last week, I've got to come back. So we're going to do it live tomorrow from midnight Plovdiv or thereabouts. Get the notification, join that free JLB Patreon. Get access to a dozen different clip shows that are waiting for you right now. But don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Who is on your Truth or Mount Rushmore?
I find you to be somebody who goes through life causing people problems and causing trouble.